Soulmates. Hope the weekend was good. We have plenty to discuss this Monday, December 12th. Welcome to Fox Soul's Black Report. I'm Courtney Hicks.
And I'm Nicordelai Corte. We are honored to stand behind this desk each day to take you on a journey across Black America and share stories that impact our people.
That's right. We're going to bring you our news, our voice, our views, and our voice. And topping the headlines for today, let's go to New York, where the New York Police Department is asking for the public's help with locating two young brothers from the Bronx who have been missing since Friday. Police say 15-year-old Josiah Campbell and his 12-year-old brother Justice were last seen around 8 a.m. Friday leaving their home. Both boys are described as having brown eyes and brown hair in that Afro style that you see here in the pictures. Josiah is about 5'11" and weighs roughly 130 pounds. He was last seen wearing a blue Nike hooded sweatshirt, blue jeans, and white and black Jordan sneakers, a black do-rag, and a black Scully. Now, Justice is about 4 feet tall and weighs about 80 pounds. He was last seen wearing a dark blue school shirt, black pants, and gray Yeezy sneakers. Anyone with information is asked to call the NYPD's Crime Stoppers hotline. That's 1-800-577-TIPS.
The Uber passenger accused of murdering a New Orleans Police Department employee moonlighting as a driver for the ride-sharing platform allegedly posted video of the woman dying in her vehicle to Facebook. 29-year-old Brandon Jacobs of Harvey, Louisiana, was booked on a second-degree murder charge for the killing of 54-year-old Yolanda Dillon. Dillon was a fiscal analyst at the New Orleans Police Department, where she worked for the past 10 years. Now, she was moonlighting as an Uber driver in her spare time to earn extra money for Christmas gifts. Dillon was stabbed multiple times Thursday afternoon in her car in the parking lot of a hotel in neighboring Jefferson Parish. She died later at a hospital. Dillon was a breast cancer survivor and the sole caretaker of her mother.
There's an investigation underway in Milwaukee after a veteran mail carrier was shot to death on the job. Police say the incident happened Friday evening around 6. Officers say the letter carrier was 44-year-old Andre Cross, who worked for USPS for over 18 years. Police say it's unclear what led up to the shooting, but the incident is under an active investigation. The U.S. Postal Inspection Service and the FBI are assisting Milwaukee police on the case. And when I heard about this, Nicordelai, I was just, horrified, as we depend on mail carriers every day through all of the weather, through all of the, trying circumstances that they might have to deal with as far as actually physically delivering that mail. And we just loved on our mail carriers maybe about a week or so ago inside of our show. So to hear something like this is absolutely devastating.
I mean, definitely a sign of the times. We're seeing an uptick in crime across the country. And, to think that mail carriers are not safe.
That's right.
You're absolutely right to feel startled by that. Speaking of not being safe, let's go back to the two New York City missing boys. 12-year-old and a 15-year-old that are out there, and we really want to urge our soulmates, if you see something, say something.
That's right.
I can't imagine what those families are going through, especially this time of year.
And it's been a whole weekend. They've been missing since Friday, when it appears as though maybe since when they left for school. And so just be on the lookout if you're from that particular area, as we want to do our best to get these babies safely home. We know that there's an issue when it comes to missing Black children, people, that a lot of times we don't get the coverage. That's what Fox Soul's Black Report is here for. So let's continue to keep an eye out.
And speaking of Black folks making it safely home, finally back on American soil after nearly 10 months of imprisonment in Russia, WNBA star Brittney Griner is spending time at a medical facility in Texas before she returns to her regular life. The basketball star, who was released Thursday as a part of a prisoner exchange between the U.S. and Russia for notorious convicted arms dealer Victor Bout, arrived at Brooke Army Medical Center in San Antonio for a routine evaluation early Friday, and officials have not specified how long she will be there. the Texas facility Griner is at would stand in stark contrast to the Russian penal colony she was held in before her release.
And the Los Angeles City Council just continues to give us all the drama as member Kevin DeLeon was involved in a fight during his attendance at a Christmas tree lighting event over the weekend. Video of the incident captured by a witness shows DeLeon attacking a man in the hallway of the event in Lincoln Heights. Now, according to LA police, a large fight broke out involving 8 people who left the scene before officers arrived. In a statement, DeLeon alleged that he was, quote, violently assaulted by a self-proclaimed activist. No suspects were taken into custody in connection with the attack. The incident remains under investigation.
The U.S. Army is doing right by one fallen soldier and his family by correcting his death record more than 70 years later. Albert H. King, a 20-year-old black soldier with the Quartermaster Corps, would find himself escaping a mob of white soldiers on a bus. A white member of the military police, Sergeant Robert Loomis, shot King 5 times, killing him as he walked on the main road at Fort Benning towards his barracks, according to military records. Now, at the time, King was listed as having died, quote, not in the line of duty. But last month, more than 80 years after King's death, Army officials corrected the record.
It's a good look. All right. Los Angeles now has its first black female mayor.
I, Karen Ruth Bass,
I, Karen Ruth Bass,
do solemnly swear
that
I will support the Constitution of the United States,
I will support the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution of the State of California,
the Constitution of the State of California,
and the Charter of the City of Los Angeles,
and the Charter of the City of Los Angeles,
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties of the office of mayor
according
to my best ability.
Madam
Mayor.
Amazing. What a feat. Karen Bass succeeds Eric Garcetti, who was mayor since 2013, but term limits prevented him from running again. Bass is also the second black person to serve as LA's mayor. And I know this whole situation is your jam, Nico Adelai. This is your thing, huh?
I've known Karen Bass for many years. She is a woman of many talents, and I was in the room when she was sworn in just this past weekend. It was a joy to be back in LA for the weekend, and just the energy in the city. The optimism, not just in the room at the Microsoft Theater, but in the city of LA was electrifying. And what a difference a few months makes. I mean, you might remember, the scandal that rocked the City of Angels not too long ago, including LA City Councilmember Kevin DeLeon, who was just involved with a scuffle with an activist there. I think a lot of folks in LA see this as an opportunity to turn the corner. There was a lot of black-brown solidarity that I saw in the room. Good. There was black-brown solidarity even on Air Force 2.
I was going to say, when were you going to spill? I was going to say, you're not telling all the business because you actually had a ride to California by way of Madam Vice President.
I did. I had an opportunity to fly in Air Force 2 along with Vice President Harris as a member of the press corps.
Sure.
And it was an experience I'll never forget. I will note that the fact that a historic first, our Madam Vice President, taking it upon herself to fly cross country for less than 24 hours just to be there to swear in another sister, a sister that was also a contender. She was on the short list to be Joe Biden's running mate.
That's
and so
right.
you have these 2 black women that really respect each other and really show up for each other. And I thought that was worth traveling to D.C. and flying to L.A. on Air Force 2.
Okay, real quick, Air Force 2, how were the snacks?
The snacks are...
I need to know.
The snacks are very nice.
Yes.
They're healthy. They're savory.
Okay. And did the VP come up to because you guys sit in the back. Did she come up to come back there to come say hi to you guys?
I did have a chance to chat with the Vice President off the record, and who knows? Who knows when we'll chat with her again?
Oh, you got to keep it all top secret? Okay. That was an amazing experience. I can't wait to hear more about it.
Absolutely.
All right.
Congratulations to Madam Mayor.
Indeed.
Karen Bass.
Indeed. All right. Large winter storm slammed into the western part of the country over the weekend, blanketing mountain areas with heavy snow, and is now threatening dangerous blizzard conditions, strong tornadoes, and flooding this week. More than 10 million people in over a dozen states are under some level of winter weather alert as the powerful storm moves across the country, bringing with it a multitude of severe storm threats. Winter storm alerts stretch from the Canadian border to the Mexican border, and blizzard warnings extend from just west of Denver into the Dakotas. I want you to be careful out there.
As many look into the new year for a fresh start, one thing that we may continue to see is inflation. From groceries to retail prices, all of them are expected to rise in certain areas and fall in others. Lauren Blanchard has the story.
The Producer Price Index rose 7.4% in November compared to a year ago. The number was higher than expected, though lower than October's 8%. This indicator measures what producers are paying for goods before they reach store shelves.
Americans are beginning to see a much needed break in inflation, but we have more work to do.
The next Consumer Price Index is out next week. While the wholesale number is the best we've seen since May 2021, grocery store receipts are still high, with food prices rising 3.3%.
I mean, you got to eat every day, and so the worst news about this is what's happening with food, what's happening with energy. Things that people use every day.
The stubbornly high number could prompt the Federal Reserve to keep their aggressive interest rate hikes to cool inflation, but it's making it harder for home buyers and those looking for car loans.
There's no change in Washington. I mean, they're still spending, they're still regulating. Those are the types of initiatives in Washington that could get us past the inflation. They're not doing any of that, so I think it's here to stay.
Where consumers are getting some relief, the gas pump. The average price of a gallon now $3.31. Gas Buddy analysts say $3 a gallon could be this year's Christmas present.
And I think that certainly looks like a very good possibility here, probably on as early as December 23rd.
The next Federal Reserve meeting is on Wednesday, and a 0.5% rate hike is expected. A 0.5%, a whole 0.5%.
Yeah, I was watching 60 Minutes last night, and Treasurer Secretary Janet Yellen was being interviewed, and it just sounded like a lot of mixed signals to me, kind of dancing around this whole idea of, are we headed into a recession or not? And I felt like it was kind of maybe not. But what I did appreciate about her answer, is that when they sit down and they go in those private rooms, matter of fact, her assistant is a black man. When they go into these rooms and they devise these plans and they come up with these numbers and they give all the advice, she tells her staff, look, people are out here trying to make ends meet. We got to remember that we are talking about people, and our reports will affect the people. So I do appreciate that. But in the meeting in between, you got these big corporations laying folks off, in response to what they think is coming, which is a recession. So it's just sort of kind of this iffy gray kind of thing. You don't get these straight answers. I just think as consumers, as soulmates, we just need to prepare and stay aware.
And sometimes we forget about the context of things. I mean, while our economy is feels like it's in transition. Transition to what? I'll leave that for the economists. But when you look at some of the research that's out there, our economy is holding up pretty well compared to economies around the world. Our inflation rate, while it's high for us, it represents a 40-year high for us. For folks in nations around the world, their inflation rate is 2, 3, 4 times higher than the United States. And so it's important that as consumers, as best we can, that we're patient and we recognize that at least we have a government that is responding to it, right? Very smart people that are responding to it, and the fact that gas prices are lower than they were earlier this year.
They are lowering.
That's a step in the right direction. Bacon is still a little too high.
And eggs,
right?
The basics,
right? But it's going to take a while for those prices to come down. Just like it's going to take a while for the interest rates for people out there that are interested in buying homes. It's going to take a while for those to come down. But hopefully they can stave off things from going from bad to worse. years.
I agree, but I feel like for the everyday person, the everyday soulmate, it's still kind of iffy and gray, and you just have to hold tight to see what's going to happen. Yeah. All right, coming up, a park to honor the legacy of Emmett Till.
That's right. Plus, the shocking number of black households facing food insecurity and what's being done to combat it. You're watching Fox Soul's Black Report.